Welcome back, everybody, and if you can't guess from the opening of the video what we're working on, hold on, let me change something here. There we go, that's better. Get the focus in the right spot. So anyway, if you guys can't guess from the opening of the video what we are working on tonight, we're working on this draw knife we started a couple of videos ago. So what we're doing is, I'm going to show you a couple different ways. Not all of us have the big, nice, expensive grinders. I don't have them either, the big belt grinders. So I'm going to show you a couple things that works for me that I'm learning. Now keep in mind, guys, I'm pretty new at this. So this is all just what I'm able to pick up, little tricks here and there. I guess first thing will suffice it to say, I've got this Hazard Fraught 4x36 sander here. It works all right if you do a couple things to it. You got to tension the belt a little bit tighter because out of the box this thing stalls out really easily. You got to get better sandpaper. You can get much higher quality belts for it than the Hazard Fraught stuff that will fit on them. I have found in the upright position this works much better. I've also found when I tighten that belt it works a whole heck of a lot better because you're not losing all that. You lose so much trying to keep it spinning when you're grinding things off of it. The other thing you can use, hand file, believe it or not, it seems like it would take forever, but it's actually really quite quick. And it's not as quick as a grinder, but it's really quite fast. Another thing that I have found works very well so far is a deburring wheel on a bench grinder. It's a 3M Scotch-Brite wheel. That works very well. That gives you a really nice polished shine. That knife we made, the one that Wyatt and I made, that I actually shined up with a deburring wheel. So anyway, first we'll go with the file. I'll show you guys how easy that is, and it really is. I've been kind of putzing away on this. My phone rang. I've been on the phone with a buddy of mine for the last hour and a half, so it's already getting late, and I'm just now trying to get my video made and finished up and all that. So let's swap the view over on you guys, and I'll show you this with a file. Okay, so like I said, a file works extremely well. Now, the way the cutters are, obviously this way, but it really doesn't take a lot of effort. Now, I have a line on here. You probably can't see it on the camera, a pencil line, but I've already taken it down a good 1/8 of an inch on there, and it didn't take that long to do. You can use this a couple ways. You can actually pull this just like you're using a draw knife, and if you have annealed this steel properly, it actually works quite easily that way. And the other way, you can just kind of do the old standard, don't go back and forth like this. That's how you ruin your files, but you can take little bites at a time out like this, and it actually works quite well. It goes quick, it goes easy, you're not killing yourself, and you're not getting all the grinding noise from your sanders or whatever, as I will show you in a moment. Now this thing is going to make quite an annoying racket, so I'm not going to talk while we're running it. But, so this is an 80 grit belt. Sometimes I'm finding the 120 works even nicer, but the finer the grit, the more heat you are going to generate. So with this, all I do, it's it's intuitive. But this thing was 60 bucks. It's not a Cadillac, but it will get you through, it will get you going. And as much as you hate supporting the Chinese government, sometimes you do what you have to do to get going, and then you replace it with something better as you generate some revenue. So we'll see how quick this turd can take us down to our line. I don't know if you can see it, but we're about right there with the line. Now this actually works fairly quickly for what it is, but keep in mind, if this was hardened, this would not be working so fast. This is about useless when the steel gets hardened. So I do as much grinding and everything as I can. I'm getting to a point as I'm forging, I try to forge the shape out as close as I can get it without going too thin, so I have enough meat if I do have to take imperfections out. But the other thing to keep in mind, if you're using any kind of a grinder, sander, anything like that, you want to make sure that you have a bucket of water, especially if you have this thing hardened already. You don't want to take that hardness out. I always like to dunk it in the water as it heats up. Usually that's why I'm not wearing gloves doing this. I can feel the metal better. Keep in mind, common sense, your fingers touch that belt, you're going to know it. So let's see if we can, we'll grind this down some more. Another way you can use this, and of course we're going to have a light right there, but I use this top roller as a bit of a contact wheel. Again, you don't want to bear down too hard on this thing. It's just plastic. You'll end up breaking it. You'll get all pissed off. It won't be any good. So let's see. Now another method that I have used that works quite well, actually it works even better than this does a lot of times, is you lock the trigger on a belt sander, you put it upside down in your vise, and boy, that works really, really well. It works really fast. You got to watch your heat though. Again, it's just, like I said, common sense. Watch that heat. It is going to build up on you, and that's a big thing I'm finding with grinding, things like that. You can lose the heat treat in a blade really fast. So like I said, proper annealing. Now what I mean by annealing with the steel, you get this thing up to forging temperature, you allow it to cool down very, very slowly. So usually what I'll do a lot of times is I'll set it on top of my forge once I get it up to temperature, and I'll turn the blower off on the forge, and then as the forge cools down, this will cool down very slowly with it. You can also put this in a, you can put it in a tub of cat litter, you could put it in a tub of vermiculite, something like that. Or sometimes also, if I'm doing this, I'll get it up to forging temperature with my gas forge, then I'll leave this in there and turn the gas forge off, and it'll allow it to cool off very slowly with the forge itself. So there's a lot of ways to skin the cat, and again, I'm no professional at this. I'm just learning as I go, and you guys get to be here to watch me learn as I go. But bottom line is, do you really need a 2x72 grinder? Do you really need all the fancy stuff to do this? I don't think so, but boy, I can't wait to build one because it will make it so much easier and faster. And keep in mind, you know, it's not always about easy and fast. Sometimes you have to really take the time to enjoy the process. A lot of us get into doing things like this, and we really forget why we're doing it, why we enjoy doing it. A lot of times it's the actual process itself. So that's where we're at. And I'll show you one other thing. We got a little bit of, oh, let me see if I can dig it out here without making a mess. Let's just drop everything. So we have something for this draw knife. And in case you guys are wondering, and this is where I feel very guilty, we did a giveaway here a long time ago on this channel, and I was not able to get it finished. I ended up falling off the barn, and then we ended up being laid up for many months. Never was able to get it done. And every time I went back to do it, to finish it so I could send it out to one of our viewers, we'd always get held up. So I'm trying to make good on this. I did have one all forged out, but I didn't like the way it was turning out, so I decided to redo it. And so anyway, a really good friend of the channel, Chris Killinger, hell of a good guy. I will put his information below in the links so you guys can find him on Instagram and YouTube. This is what Chris does. He makes some beautiful leather sheaths. He restores axes, knives, all that. He is phenomenal. The guy is amazing. Definitely worth getting to know Chris if you need any of this stuff done. So when this is all said and done, we have a beautiful sheath for this thing. Absolutely gorgeous. So I'm thinking, as I get going doing more of this stuff, Chris will probably be getting to do a lot of the leather work. I will probably buy my sheaths and whatnot from him, but that's what's going to be getting sent out with this draw knife, and that's awesome. Of course I put that on upside down, but who's counting that anyway, huh? So anyway, I'm going to get it off of here though, because I don't want to get this leather all dirty. So anyway, that's where we're at. And if you can't tell, I'm ready to fall asleep out here once again, but that's just the way we do it here. You guys know that by now if you've been with us for a while. So anyway, I'm going to grind my life away here for a little while. I'll run the camera for a little bit, and then I'm going to go in, I'm going to edit this thing, and then I'm taking my ass to bed. So have a good night, everybody, and I'll catch you on the other side.